Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Ante, and the topic I chose is identity theft. What is identity theft? First and foremost, like most thefts, identity theft is a crime, and a very serious one at that. It is a crime that involves an individual's identity to be stolen by someone else. What does this mean? It means that somebody else has obtained important pieces of information, such as your social security number or driver's license number, and is using it to falsely portray him or herself as you. This is a big deal because this individual could be doing things under your name that could stain your history and reputation forever. What I mean by history and reputation could damage your finances and your credit history, and for you to clean that up, it's a process and it's not fun. The reason why I chose this topic is because this happened to me personally. I've had my identity stolen twice already. Wasn't something serious, thankfully. Um, They just had my credit card information and made some purchases that were not authorized by me. Thankfully, my bank recognized it wasn't me and reimbursed everything that was used. So I wanted to share some light on the topic and make sure everyone fully understands what this is, what it can do, and how you can protect yourself. First, let's start with some history. Identity theft history. Identity theft has been around for many years. When it first started, criminals would actually murder their victims, dispose of bodies, and use their names and social security numbers to portray themselves as them. I found this a fun fact. I really didn't know about this. I guess that's where the word identity theft or the phrase identity theft originated. They're literally stealing their identities just to become themselves. Those that specific individual. Uh, the motivation for criminals back then was strictly just to having a clean slate, start somewhere new, fresh, under a new name and new information. Um, Typically not financially connected. So, like I said, it was mostly just to start fresh, start new somewhere else. Mm, as technology advanced throughout the years, so has identity theft. Unfortunately, after criminals then started to use the telephone as a form of stealing identities. So how is this possible? Uh, this was actually the first technological device used by identity theft. Criminals would call their victims and take a prize and fake a prize and telling their victims that they've recently won something, or pretend to be a bank representative and would ask for personal information from the victims, such as social security numbers and banking information. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, why would anybody give that information out? Uh, Back then, identity theft wasn't as common as it is today. Everyone is on their toes about it now. Back then, they weren't. So they're pretty much the guinea pigs in this whole scenario. Uh, they would give out their information willingly. Criminals would also go through the trash of the victims and obtain their information from their bank statements. As mentioned before, the more technological advances, the more there were in identity theft as well. After the phone came the computer. This era is actually the era that we currently live in now. Changed everything and made identity theft a very common crime and one to look out for seriously. The internet has allowed access for identity thieves with endless amounts of personal information. You can find anything on the internet, even your personal information, if someone really tried. According to the FTC, 62% of all identity frauds occurred over the internet. This usually happens through email fraud, which gives a thief all the information they need to apply for loans or credit accounts under the victim's names. As I said before, this is a serious crime that is happening now, and a lot of people don't have much information about it. So I'm glad I'm bringing this up now, and I chose this topic. How does one know their identity has been stolen? Uh, Typically, you'll realize in your bank statements at first. I mean, if you see irregular activity in your bank account, chances are your identity has been stolen and someone has your information and is using your credit card to purchase uh, various things. That's what happened to me. I noticed some strange activity in my bank account, but my bank notified me way before I notified them and asked me some certain questions. to see if it was actually me spending all that money or if it was someone else. Obviously, I told him it wasn't me, and we took it from there. Uh, Another way to find out is through strange correspondence um, from banks or federal loan companies that you have nothing to do with. This typically means somebody has used your identity to apply for a loan or credit card. Call from Calls from debt collectors is actually the second most common. Um, this pretty much explains itself. I mean, if someone is calling to collect money you didn't know you owe them, chances are your identity has been stolen. Somebody probably used your information to take out a loan and they're calling to collect. And the last one is IRS notices. Obviously, if it gets to this point, it's a more serious crime. I would contact them right away and get it cleared up, let them know that those purchases were not made by you. Now, how do you protect yourself from identity theft? Truth is, as consumers, there really isn't a way you can protect yourself 100%. There's so many sources because of the internet that it makes it impossible. Financial institutions have really invested a lot of time and effort to try and protect us on their end by monitoring unusual activities. However, after much research and investigations about this, there are a few tips that I thought to be the most effective to help with identity theft protections. First ones, don't give out your social security number. Plain and simple, unless it's a very reliable source, such as a bank or maybe even a hospital, I would think twice before giving that number out. Buying a paper shredder. Now, this is a strange one, but I took this advice and it's worked out for me so far. Any bank statements or any personal information that comes to my house in correspondence, I go ahead and shred it. Once I'm done, I shred it automatically and throw it away after that. This has helped. I know it's a little tedious, but I've gotten used to it and it has helped. That way you take that risk of someone going through your trash and getting all your information. The last one, which I found the most interesting, was a password protection because this is totally on us. I mean, when it comes to passwords for financial statements and different sites, make sure your passwords are extremely secure and stay changing them every once in a while. That way you keep the thief guessing and they'll have to go ahead and try and find out a new way to get your password once they figure out the old one. You just keep on making them guess, and it makes it harder for them. Eventually, they'll give up. Another thing that I found to be effective is by using capital letters, symbols, and numbers in my passwords. So why is this important to you? As someone that has experienced it firsthand, I can tell you that from personal experience, that getting a call from your bank and saying they have a few questions about some recent purchases because of some unusual activity, it's not really that fun. This is the modern age bank robberies. I like to call it that way. These robbers don't have to go to banks anymore and force them to give them the cash. They can do it electronically through us, and it's the same thing essentially. Um, After the second time, my account is now flagged, and any unusual activity on my account, it gets locked automatically. Again, why is this important? Identity theft could really stain your financial history and record for life. It's important to proactively be aware of this and do whatever it is you can do on your part to protect yourself. These criminals need to be stopped, and it starts with us taking the necessary precautions. And you could also start by being knowledgeable and protecting ourselves at the same time. I hope I'm able to leave you with more knowledge than I did coming into this video. Thank you very much and have a great day.